All right, Parker.
What's up, Greg?
Spring training. All right, Parker.
Jeez. Little Otani and Dodger blue.
Yeah, why are you looking at the camera?
I don't know. Let's start over.
All right, Parker. Dodger spring training.
That's right, Greg. Otani and Dodger blue.
Yeah, Yamamoto's here. Pretty excited about that one.
Tons of new faces. I mean, Kike's back.
Yes, it's great. Maybe we should talk about it on the ESPN LA YouTube channel.
I like that idea. What do you say? 9:30, 9:55?
Right, leading right into Travis and Sliwa. Get a couple guests.
Maybe Marcus Grant, Travis Rogers, perhaps.
Yep. Just have a bunch of people come in. Maybe Clinton Yates will even find his way in.
Oh, you always want to have the handsome man president right there.
Absolutely. All right, well, I think we should do that. We'll do it every day, Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 9:55 on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. Thanks to LAX.
And welcome back to a Monday edition of Blue Review. I'm Parker Bell, and I'm here by myself today. That's right, no corporate Greg or Marcus Grant today. Marcus is going to be busy with NFL free agency, so happy NFL free agency day to all those who celebrate. Of course, as always, before we get started, I just want to let everybody know that the Blue Review is presented by Los Angeles International Airport. Changes are arriving daily to reduce traffic, save guests time, transform your travel experience. And if you want more information, you can find that out at flylax.com/transforminglax. Okay, so by myself today, and this is going to be a fun episode. Greg is in a big meeting with all the content people, and luckily, I'm immune to that because my content is strictly on YouTube. Carlos Sanchez, welcome to the chat. Hoopers X, good to see you. Always, as always, I want you guys to be active in the chat. I want to answer some questions. While I'm here by myself, I feel that maybe you and I can just hang out. So I'm not afraid of no daylight savings. That's right, Carlos. I'm here, and we're gonna have an episode on our own. Really, you and I can hang out. I got a lot to get into, I guess. I mean, the starting pitching just came out for the Seoul series, which is really exciting. We knew it would be Yamamoto and Glasnow, but what order we did not know, and now we do. So I'll get into that in a minute. What will the rest of the rotation look like? Emmett Sheehan was potentially the lock for that fifth starter until he got hurt. Now who will step up? Excited to get into that as well. And any questions that you guys have, maybe we can get into some injury concerns as well. I'm excited. Let's do this. Also, Shohei Otani, the celebration, is that a nod to maybe one of our favorite cartoons and to some people, their favorite anime, Dragon Ball Z? We'll get into that as well a little bit. So, of course, like I said, we're presented by LAX, and I'm excited to kind of get into this one today, trying to bring a little more energy since it's just me, and Greg also last week told me I don't have a lot of energy. So here we go. Let's do it. If you guys have any questions for me, of course, send them my way, test my knowledge. I know usually we defer to Greg or Marcus, the experts in this, and I'm just the host. But this time, we're going to test my knowledge, test my ball knowledge. Pause. Okay, here we go. So, Dodgers, the lineup, the starting pitching lineup is set for the Seoul series. We saw that the MLB tweeted just earlier this morning that it will be for Game 1, Tyler Glasnow versus Yu Darvish. Okay, so we'll spend a few minutes getting into that a little bit because that maybe it comes to a surprise. Maybe the fact that Yamamoto has yet to see any MLB, real game time kind of didn't give him that nod for the first start, and Glasnow has that experience. Let's just look at what Yu Darvish has done against the Dodgers in his career. 4-5 all time. Not too bad. I mean, of course, as the Dodgers fans, we all know Darvish, and we appreciate him for his time and tenure here. And, screw the Astros, all that, blah, blah, blah. But I digress. What he's done against the Dodgers is actually a little bit surprising. 4-5 all time, but only a 2.38 ERA. and then he's got, I think it's under a 1 whip. So the fact that he's putting up those numbers, but he's a 4-5 just shows that the teams he was with, blowing the leads in the end. I think that this matchup, as marquee as it is, I see Carlos Sanchez in the chat saying Glasnow should be a number 2, but he understands, and I'm in the exact same boat. Yamamoto Glasnow really could have been 1, 2. It really doesn't matter, to be honest. I mean, this offense is just so insane that Darvish, and I didn't mention, but Musgrove is going to be the game 2 starter for the Padres. They're going to have a lot of trouble with this offense, and Glasnow plus Yamamoto are going to have a little leeway. So I'm excited to see Seoul. I know we talked a couple weeks ago, I think it was, about just the scheduling and how awkward it is that they have to go out to Seoul, attempt to expand the game in a place that the game is already extremely popular, and then come back for a few spring training games, Freeway Series, Angels, and then get this started again. So I know for some who play fantasy baseball, that's annoying because you got to get your draft early. You got to get all this started, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to be exciting, I think, just to see in that stadium out there. I got to go check which exact stadium they're playing. And again, I didn't really do my research on the exact location of the Seoul Series. I just know it's in Seoul. But it's really cool because it's new, and anything to make baseball a little more exciting for the average viewer is good news. So, like I said, if you're in here and you kind of want to talk or have some questions about Glasnow or that number 1 matchup there, we could talk about it. Of course, Glasnow has a minimal track record against the Padres and just the National League in general, because he wasn't much of a starting pitcher back when he was a Pirate. I believe it was in 2018. But as a Ray, we know what his career has looked like. He's been obviously he's had amazing years, all-star years, but then he's also had his injury years. So he could go back to being that marquee guy this year, and this will be the first test against Yu Darvish, a fellow former, all-star and stud. And it'll be super cool to see. When it comes to game 2, though, that I think for me is going to be the game that's a little more exciting. We get to see Yamamoto on the main stage. Now, if you look at what he's done in the spring training, I think we can all agree that the stuff is there. We've seen some nasty bleep, but he may have had some control issues, and maybe he's shaken off some jitters, getting used to just MLB hitting, seeing what he can do here, can't do there. There was the pitch tipping situation that the Dodgers weren't really too worried about, as well as Yamamoto. They had a very lax attitude about that, which Corporate Greg and Marcus both kind of tend to lean the other way. There was a little bit more concern over here with the Blue Review. And we'll see. We'll see how he approaches that in game 1. I know that out of the stretch, there's not necessarily as much issues as terms to when he's full windup, but we'll see. If we're looking in the chat here, thank you for sending some questions. And this is Carlos Sanchez again in the chat saying, what's a decent inning total for Glasnow per start? Is he getting to the 7th, or is he coming out earlier? Pending he's having a good game. Of course, I mean, you kind of answered it there at the end. If he's having a good game, it would be nice to see him go deep. But it's tough. I don't necessarily think that, at least at the beginning of the season, we're going to be seeing guys go too deep. I know that sounds contradictory because it's the beginning. Guys should be fresh. But I feel that we're also just going to have a lot of opportunities to see this bullpen and see what the rotation could look like there. Throwing some lefties, some situational pitching. I know that they want to see Yarbo a lot. And then because, Yarbo might get that 5th starter job as well against Stone. We'll see. We'll get into that a little more later. But I feel that Glasnow probably, if he can go 6th, that'll be a good outing for him. And I think that the bullpen might be able to carry the rest of the way through as long as that offense is doing what it's doing. Theodosius, I see you in the chat saying they're going to be abusing Betts at short. So if you want to get into the fielding a little bit, we can. We still don't know if we're going to be seeing Lux in that starting role during the Seoul series, but we do know for a fact that Mookie for the time being, is the permanent shortstop, like you mentioned. And they say they're going to abuse him there. We'll see. The Dodgers, you can't call it turmoil, but they are definitely having issues on that left side of the infield. And I am a little bit worried when teams are going to start planning, let's just hit it to the left and we'll be fine. Then that's when you need to be worried. And it's going to start as soon as the season starts. The only way to find out is just to see if he's got what it takes. And maybe he does. Maybe he surprises us, Theodosius. Hooper's X in the chat asking, why are the Dodgers playing on the cheap with shortstop after spending $1 billion this offseason? It just seems really short-sighted. Well, what was out there on the market? I answer your question with a question. I know that everybody was there's some Adames talk, and there were guys, now he's with Miami, but guys like Tim Anderson, maybe Gio Urshela, like a utility guy, was out on the market. Anderson is a low defensive metrics guy at this point in his career. Adames started to decline in terms of his hitting with the Brewers. So what really could they have done? We mention this all the time. Trey, that always hurts. Seager, it hurts. But the Dodgers are what they are, and we're 10 days away, so we kind of just have to accept it. Mookie, you just think about, on one end, sure, there could be worries, but on the other, it's just a testament to his greatness. So many Gold Gloves out and right. One of the best second basemen in the game last year, just off of a whim. He needed to do it for the team, and he did it, and now he needs to do this. And I think maybe I could believe in him just based off of pure track record. I know you're saying just send some of the kids for Adames, but again, Greg has been mentioning all year, metrics wise, he's just kind of taking a dip, and it could be, how much better are you going to be? I know we've been nitpicking here on the Blue Review, that left side of the infield. Muncy is also giving us struggles. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Believe in Mookie. Regular season Mookie never disappoints. So I'm coming in with some optimism, and I believe that everyone else should too. Muncy, we'll see. But let's get into the pitching a little bit. I had this as a topic before we actually had the starting pitchers announced. And, just looking at how everyone has performed in this spring, and then with some injury concerns happening to Sheehan, it's been a big topic of conversation. Who's going to be that fifth guy, that fifth starter? And I think it's a good question. There are a lot of possibilities. And it was Roberts who had mentioned a few names in general, and I think the favorite currently is going to be Stone. So Stone, coming into spring, puts on 12 pounds of muscle, looking a little beefier, throwing a little harder. That ERA so far in the spring, less than 1 in 9.2 innings pitched, and then he's got about 9 Ks in those 9 innings. So the whip below 0.7 too, which is just ridiculous with 1 walk. I think he has made the best case so far to get that 5th spot. But of course, guys like Grove, who maybe have a little more experience on the mound, they could potentially get that spot as well. Hurts, he was mentioned, maybe a spot, but I don't think he's put in enough work in this spring to go above Stone or Grove. And then you got Yarbo, who could be a sleeper pick. Maybe they want to throw in a little more lefties to kind of shake things up. But I want to kind of use a quote from Walker, who of course is dealing with, the injury issues. There's a little news on him as well, which was kind of interesting to see over the weekend. But a quote that he had that I found was interesting and kind of relates to this 5th spot is that the Dodgers have created so much leeway. Let's see if I can find it here. Does it? Yeah, they've created enough leeway. Does it really matter who that 5th spot is, or when Walker Buehler comes back, when some of these guys who are injured comes back? Because they've just created this, if we're being honest, juggernaut of a team. So does it necessarily matter? We avoided a few scares. Blake Trinan, he had that scary comebacker that they thought maybe could have bruised some ribs, took him out for a while, but luckily dodged a bullet there. It's just a lung contusion, which sounds scarier than it is, but he should be okay in 3 to 5 days. And traveling to Seoul is not ruled out. That was the last we heard of training. Gratterall, there's one that I don't know. The injury issues with Gratterall always kind of, I don't want to be too blunt here, but they kind of upset me because, I mean, what's going on here? Hip tightness, shoulder soreness, not traveling with the team to Seoul, but should be good for domestic debut. We're, I don't know, nitpicking at this point, but we hope Gratterall could be healthy. We hope the best for him. And then Sheehan, gonna start the season on the IL. Back to throwing bullpen though, which is good news. And that fifth starter, I want you guys to answer my question. I mean, who do you think outside of Stone and Grove have the best case, or do you think one of those two should be it? Let me know in the chat. I see you guys are active. Let's see, you guys. What do you guys think about Mookie moving to shortstop? Of course, yeah, we kind of got into that a little bit. Mentioning, here's a good point. He could get hurt diving. Man's been playing baseball for so long. He's been jumping into fences in the right field for so long. He was getting dirty over there on second, and I've already seen him make some nice kind of plays, moving his body around at short. So I think on that end sense, he'll be fine. And of course, he's one of the most durable guys in the league. So should be okay on that end in terms of, injuries, but you never want to put anything into the universe. So knock on wood. But let's see. Casper Villa, welcome to the chat, my man. It's really about the defensive aspect and the toughest spots. I do think the Dodgers should try and get a defensive shortstop. Offense, not a concern. Of course, yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest conversation this whole year. Everything that the Dodgers have created is pretty much top of the league. They're the favorites. But yeah, that left side of the infield is going to be an issue. And if they can make a move, we'll see. We'll get into that more throughout the Blue Review. Like Theodosis said, you don't win championships platooning and moving people around. It's going to be tough. I think we all are in agreement that when there's an issue, that could definitely be highlighted in the playoffs. That's the most important thing. During the season, I think they're still going to find ways to win games. They always do. And I really don't know at this moment who they can go and get. We can defer to Greg tomorrow. We can get into it a little more. But to me, Mookie, we'll see. He'll prove himself within this first month or so of this season, and maybe he'll surprise us. I know I've mentioned that a few times this episode, but maybe he will surprise us. And thank you, Casper Villa. Doing my best to hold it down, of course, with Greg and Marcus in meetings. Marcus dealing with free agency, fantasy football, all that good stuff. It's exciting. I like being here on my own and just hanging with you guys. Blue Review is here no matter what. Rain, shine, doesn't matter. We're here. Daniel Hudson. So returning of Daniel Hudson may be a possibility. I know Dodgers fans, we have a good relationship with Daniel Hudson. He has a good relationship with the Dodgers. Will his knees, I don't know how to put it. Will they give out on him? We don't know. He, of course, came on a non-roster invitee, and he has an opt-out option. I believe it's on the 15th. But Robert said he will be in the bullpen. Whether it is that early and he comes in for the beginning of the season, we don't know yet. There's no timetable, no hard date. But Daniel Hudson, it's great to hear that after, what was it, a Tommy John all those years back, and then some knee issues. It's great to hear that he himself mentally and physically is feeling a little good. And it's just a testament to the Dodgers culture that I believe Hudson said, if I was going to give it another shot, it's the Dodgers I would do it for. And you don't hear that often with other teams. The front office, the coaching staff, everybody has treated a guy like Daniel Hudson so well when he had injury issues. And it's just a testament to people wanting to come back and give it their all. It could be his last attempt at a comeback in the MLB, and he kind of just wants to go all out and help the Dodgers win a championship. And I think the little things like that are the things we should be focusing on. I know it can seem like a glaring issue when you think of shortstop and everything, but sometimes culture and sometimes leadership can carry a team past little inconveniences like that. Maybe it's too small of a word to use inconvenience for that shortstop position and third base, but they're it's just sometimes that's how things work, you know? Like if they are all bought in and they're giving it their all, sometimes things tend to work out. And I'm going to lean with that mentality coming into the season. We'll see how I feel come playoffs. But going into the season, I'm going to be leaning towards that mentality. And it's going to be really cool just to see this Dodgers team come together. The atmosphere has been great. There was something I noticed, and I think I saw on social media. I'm not necessarily sure who figured this out. I'll double check. But the celebration, the new celebration that we've been seeing from Shohei, and I think Freddie has done it, and most of the guys have done it. It's that small little. It looks like he's about to do the Freddie, and then they just do the doom. Somebody went and figured it out that it is actually a reference, possibly, to one of Shohei's favorite mangas and animes in Dragon Ball Z. So, of course, just this last week, the fans of anime and the world lost an amazing talent in Akira, the creator of Dragon Ball Z, and I believe Shohei was a huge fan. So, if that is a nod to Dragon Ball Z and like Goku and Trunks, or sorry, Goku's son and Trunks, I think that is actually really cool, and I would like to see that continue. Maybe they can get a little Kamehameha going through this season, a cool celebration as well as kind of a nod to a great creator in the anime world. And shout out to Shohei for kind of bringing that through here. That was really cool. If I had a video, I'd show you guys, but I could tweet it out on ESPN socials later. Carlos Sanchez, we've been talking about shortstop a lot, and he says, don't we still have Miguel Rojas? Yes, we do. He's still there. And if there's issues, of course, with Lux moving over to second and he just can't figure it out, or Mookie not feeling too strong at short, Mookie can go back to second. Miguel Rojas can do his thing defensively, at least. We don't know how the bat's going to go, but of course, for the last 46 games, I think it was, he was hitting over 275 last year. So ups and downs, we'll see. Miguel Rojas is always there, and they have a few other names who can kind of step up. I know in the chat you guys don't like the platooning, but analytics wise, Dodgers are about the best team around, so they know what to throw out on the field and what works in terms of situational games. And I think that's really it for now. That's all we can kind of get into when it comes to that. Let's see. We got, again, 10 games, 10 days until the Seoul series. We'll talk about that throughout this week. I'll kind of end this one short here so that I can get prepped for the Travis and Sliwa show to stream that, guys. I know some of you will be in the chat for that one, so I'm looking forward to see you in there. Every day, Monday through Friday, whether Corporate Greg's here or not, I will be here. So tune in to the Blue Review, 9:30 to 9:55. I appreciate you guys coming in and just, I don't know, supporting me. I tried to hold down the fort, and you guys can let Greg know how I did tomorrow. Thank you. As always, I will see you every day from Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 9:55. We're presented by LAX. This is the Blue Review. Appreciate you guys.